What's up, everybody? It's Jeffrey Lyles welcoming you to another edition of Lyles Figure Files. Keeping it rolling with San Diego Comic Con reveals, a lot of stuff to break down. Star Wars, the big HasLab reveal, which we kind of knew was coming, so I'm going to break that down, of course, later on. Got Marvel Legend reveals and McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse. So much stuff. Let's get into it. Let's see who's here. First off, what's going on, Afton Child? How are you? Blake, what's going on, my man? Hot Banana Waters in the building as well. Luke Cage, to see that, I had to have Luke Cage right front and center. We've been waiting for this guy for so long. A little bit disappointed with some lack of reveals, but I'll get into that. And, since we just got started, let's go right in about those Marvel Legend reveals. Jamelin, what's going on? Hey. All right, let's start. So yesterday, of course, we got those reveals. We are doing the last night, live last night. Yeah, that was easy to say. Talking about all the Marvel Legends stuff. We were talking about a bunch of other things, and it was like, hey, Marvel Legends are dropping before the panel. And of course, we saw the X-Men 97 figures, and Toy Arc has their full amazing gallery. It looks great. Here's Bishop, and I think this is a really great photo of him. Shows off all that articulation and just how great this figure looks. And I'm really impressed with how he turned out, thinking he is definitely going to be a figure that I get with this line. I don't know how deep I'm going to go into it, but Bishop looks like he is definitely going to be joining my collection. He looks outstanding. A little bit disappointed with this Storm because, as you can see, she doesn't have the bicep articulation. Looks like single jointed elbows. That's not great. It's just one of those deals where it's like, come on, you know what we expect at this point, Hasbro. Her hair looks a little bit soft with this sculpt. And I understand this is a line based on an animated cartoon series. So, they're not going to have detailed hair in the cartoon, but you kind of wish there was a little bit more involved with that. But that's what we get. That's kind of what we got to go through with it. This Wolverine, though, he looks like a straight up winner. He kind of covers all the bases with the classic colors, with that blue, the jet black, tiger stripes, the yellow looking nice, not too bright, definitely not too orange yellow. So that's great. This unmasked head sculpt was also really good. The masked one also looks great. So a lot to love with this Wolverine. Really nice, stern, serious expression. Definitely have those butterfly shoulders so he can go all in, trying to stab, hack, and slash away at whoever's coming his way. But Wolverine is definitely one of the standouts in this line. Not so much with Rogue. Again, this is another one of those cases where they're skewing real close to the animated look, and it just doesn't translate as nicely as it does with Rogue with some of the other figures. Now, you can actually see this head sculpt itself looks good, but I feel like this is going to be a figure where do you really need it, because she looks like she is also lacking the bicep articulation and looks like, again, single jointed elbows. Not what you want to see in a Rogue figure at this point in time. But I do think this head sculpt itself looks really great. This is a soft, nice expression for Rogue. I think some of the other ones are a little bit too stern, too mean. This looks friendly like you'd expect from Rogue in the cartoon. So maybe it's worth it if you can find this figure on clearance. Take that head sculpt, transplant the hair, and just put this on one of those older X-Men Rogue Jim Lee version bodies, because I think the head sculpt is actually the real star of this figure, but not too much else that I need for my collection. But then Gambit, he's another one I think really looks good. He's got a little bit of an animated head sculpt going. Again, how can I complain about that? So that's based off of cartoons. But I think if I can dirty up he's got a little bit of a 5 o'clock shadow thing going here, but I want to dirty him up a little bit more, especially with that hair, because I really like the flow of it. And he's got great articulation. Of course, you wish that this would stay black, and so he didn't have this with a pin piece, but he does have pins, and that's what the whole issue is, because you can see right here, pin there. And of course, you'd like to not see that in 2023, 2024 figures. It's like, come on, guys, what are we happening? What's going on? What's happening? Same deal with the coat. And why am I now blanking on my guy here? Dwight is saying that this is a new coat for Gambit, but it seems to have some of the same issues as earlier versions, where it's not quite as well done as I'd like to see it. And I would love to see Gambit with double jointed elbows. So That's still a little bit of an issue. But see, I love this head sculpt. This seems to me more like Gambit. And I'm going to probably put a little bit more of that 5 o'clock shadow, but a really strong head sculpt for him. And it looks nice. So I'll get him and probably use one of my older Gambit bodies, but that's a really nice deal. And I love that they included this. Definitely a piece I'd love to see on all kind of characters with projectiles, just using that mold. But this guy here, this Magneto, really looks like the standout of this wave. Maybe one of the best Marvel figures we've seen so far this year. He is indeed using the Vulcan buck, and that's great for him. Gives him more size. It doesn't make him super massive like Jim Lee drew him, but still really nicely done. His eyes have a little bit of shadowing, so you can see here. That is really nice. It's not the full shaded effect like we see sometimes, but I really like this because it keeps that whole thing of there's a helmet piece that's obscuring part of his eyes, shadowing them. So that's a really nice touch. He also mentioned that this cape is not going to have that annoying, frustrating deal where it's plugging into the back and being a real issue. Now this one is going to be tapered on along the waist, I think he said, or on the back. So it's not going to be those same issues we've seen with previous figures, which is really nice. Hopefully that's something they include with other cape figures, because dealing with that peg sticking out all the time was a super pain. I love the way this cape looks tailored along those shoulders, though. It's getting that rise up, kind of like we've seen with Thor figures. I think that's really good. That way it will not impact his articulation. So if you want to raise his arms up, get that fold, commanding the magnetic spectrum, you can do that without any interference messing around with that cape. The detailed paintwork on the helmet looks really good, and you can see his eyes look focused and like I'm about to do some serious damage. Xavier and all you X-Men. So I really like how Magneto turned out. I think he is a real standout in this whole set. So that's those guys. What do you guys think about them so far? Did you see that Bishop and that Blade? Yeah, I'm going into them, and I'm just going through the X-Men 97, but for sure we're going to talk about Blade. Dan, a lot of good-looking figures shown. Yeah, I mean, there's some really good ones, some questionable head scratchers, like going, what are you guys doing still? But the ones that I like, I think are really good. Blake, I'll take him without Iron Fist if he's not ready for the 2-pack. Yeah, he looks good. Maybe what they're going to do is give us another 2-pack and have Luke with those blue pants. So that way we're kind of going, do I need to? Of course I do. So maybe that's what we're going to get. Jerry, what's going on? It's the ghost. Yeah, we know we're coming through. I wonder what the price will be. Oh, I'm going to get to the price on that because the price may scare some of you all. I like that Bishop body, but he needs the mullet. And what I'm thinking with looking at that Bishop body, the skin tones aren't different. We should just be able to transplant that old Bishop head sculpt onto this new body. And I think that should work just fine, hopefully, because that's the only thing that's really distinguishing more of that modern cartoon look with the old classic version we got years ago now. And I think this buck should work a little bit better so he's not so massive, not looking like he's going to knock out Colossus because he's so big. So maybe this will work better. The Looster. Words can't describe how happy I am to get that vision. I'm with you, man. 80s kid from the 90s. What's going on? Did they take away Storm's blue eyes? You know, I don't remember. But I mean, Storm kind of has white eyes when she's powering up. And I feel like every figure that they've done so far has Storm with the powered up eyes and not her standard, hey, here I am with my blue eyes. Nope, they look like right here. They're blue eyes. So they did, in fact, include them. That's a nice different touch with her figures, because I think every other one has had the whited out eyes. There I go. I can say it. So yeah, it looks like she's got them. I don't realize you couldn't see that all that time, but there you go. So they did include them. A nice looking head sculpt on Storm. I wonder if this is a case where if you just transplanted some hair, you could get a better version, because I love the head sculpt. I think that really looks good. And I think they capture more of her look in the comic book than the standard cartoon. So I like that a lot. That's the disappointment I have with Captain Marvel from the Secret Wars. No bicep articulation. So can't get her wings, cape, and good flight poses. I mean, it's 2023. They've introduced the Shriek body mold. I don't think any figure that they release at this point should have substandard, less articulation than that. If you want to go better and bigger, like that Black Widow that's just come out, great. But don't give us figures that you've been rolling out way back in 2017, 2018 without articulation and thinking we're going to be satisfied and happy with that now. I mean, you guys can do better. You've already shown us when you work really hard with this Black Widow figure that you can create astonishing, amazing, uncanny, spectacular, fantastic, any other Marvel adjective I want to throw out there with the figures. So let's not see these retreads anymore going forward. Daniel says I might get Rogue for the new legs, and I did forget about that point too, because she definitely does have those pinless legs. I wonder if she's got that same situation where she's going to have those. Now it looks like those pieces are firmly in place with her. That's good to see. And I wonder what that articulation is going to be like. It's pinless, so I don't know. Maybe it'll be worth checking out on that end. So maybe there's more reasons to get Rogue than just the one I thought. Banana Water says that Hand Ninja is the only one out of the Marvel Knights wave that feels like it was just to fill a spot in. Otherwise, other characters in that wave will break them down in just a second. Optimum Child, I really need a Rogue and Gambit because I do not have one in my collection. I think if these are the only options for you, I think Gambit for sure is a good choice. This one's really good. Rogue, they've done better figures, so maybe you can find a better version of Rogue cheaper once this one comes out, because I think that retro card one kind of took some of the demand for Rogue figures down a little bit more. There was once upon a time you could actually get that retro figure for under $20, so maybe this will help that even further. The Even 7, nice fella, nice. Gambit looks cool, but Wolverine looks great. He does look good. I'm thinking for sure I'm getting Wolverine, I'm getting Gambit, and then most likely Bishop and probably Storm, although I wish now I got in that black outfit of Storm when they released with the comic book look. That way I could have this white outfit and not feel bad about it. Yeah. Chase, what's going on, bro shot? Hey guys, looks like third jobs are happening after these figure reveals. Yeah, jeez. There's so much stuff that was great, and I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna do? Like Snake, oh no. Randall saw the new Vision, Power Princess, and Crystar. My goodness, Crystar. Wow, yeah. Blake wants to know, when are you going to tag team these lives with me, bro? Magneto looks magnificent. Yeah. This will be my Magneto since I don't have one. Blake, I don't think you've really missed out on having a great Magneto, and I think this one covers you and fixes all the issues from before, because I think the old Magneto had decent bodies, but I think the Vulcan mold is really good. They fixed those issues with the cape, which was one of my big issues with this last one that came with the Scarlet Witch Quicksilver 3-pack. That was a pretty decent set, but they all kind of had some issues, and Magneto's cape was definitely one that I had with the whole set in general. And you know, it was one of those so big, so massive ones. It was like, dude, you're just dropping this Joker all the time. Let me show you what that one looked like. So this is that set here. So the Quicksilver had a really big head, big noggin, definitely something that I would have loved to see sized down a little bit more to the size of Magneto, Scarlet Witch. And this is a wild one because every figure had some little flaws to them. They fixed Scarlet Witch, giving her a lighter color scheme. This Magneto had like I'm not really sure if I'm mad or if I'm upset head sculpt. So it kind of lacked some intensity there. So I wasn't really thrilled with that. And then we had this mad head sculpt, but you can see the cape. It's not as great as this new one, and it's like super dark. It just doesn't capture that whole cool look that we're seeing in this new one. And I really think that's a better version of Magneto's look. Definitely more classic look for him. So you lucked out because you're getting the superior version. Bishop looks boss. I agree, 80s kid. He turned out really nice, and can't wait to see how he moves and all that stuff. And especially if I can use that old mullet head sculpt for him. Omega 579 says, I hope the old unhelmeted head fits on Magneto. I mean, I gotta assume he would, and it's probably one of those cases if it doesn't fit snugly, throw a little blue tack in there, it should hold it in just fine. But I would think that they would keep that in mind with figures, like especially since these accessories are real low on these figures. I mean, most of them have maybe one or like some different hands, but that's it. So hopefully they'll make it so it can include that head sculpt on there. Blade does look super cool. Jamelin says Bishop is a must-have for me. I get most Storm figures. I don't really need the rest. Magneto looks great, but I already got the Mafex and I love it. The Mafex one does look great, and I'm really curious when people who get both of these do a comparison, because I'm curious if this one's going to knock out the Mafex one. And half the time the Mafex Marvel figures aren't as great as their DC counterparts. So maybe this one will top that one too. Bond Williams, what's going on? X-Men Wave looks great, but since I got all the characters, it's a pass for me. And that's funny because they don't really have a lot of new ones in there, so it's just slight tweaks. I think Wolverine's an improvement on that Tiger Strike one we've had before. Gambit, a slight improvement on some other ones. I think they're going to do Sebastian Shaw. Now, he could work if they, when they get to the second or third wave on this, especially if they do his fighting Hellfire Club mode where he's got the shirt off, showing off all that funky chest hair, and he's got those green leggings going, which will probably be black because it's Hasbro's Marvel Legends team, so it'll be off color, and then you have to buy a box set. But maybe they put him in that will work. Callisto is another character in this show, so maybe all of us who didn't buy that 5-pack Wolverine set with the chest hair going, we can actually get her, maybe a better, more comic book accurate version of her. So fingers crossed on that end. So there's some options of characters we might not have in Marvel Legends form already. There's definitely a reason for them to do Shaw in his other outfit or his other look though, so I get it for sure. Lefty Two Lions, BK, what's going on? Jay Figures and such. Of one of the Cage version from the 90s comic, the new look with the ripped up yellow outfit, his hands would be fire. So we're talking about the new look with the those gauntlets he rocked, or we're talking about the old school 90s comic where he was like rocking the, let me see here, how hard that would be to find, with the leather jacket. Oh, course. So now you do that kind of stuff. You can, of course, find the comic book look as soon as you want to. Now you get the TV show. Gosh, let me try this, man. This is when it gets a little bit annoying. Let's see. I think I know which one you're talking about, but it might just be impossible to find these days. All right. Because the TV show is just dominated all of everything these days. Yeah, man. Of course, Lucas had some pretty cool looks over the years. There we go. Finally, after so much hard work trying to find it, and I believe this is exactly what you're talking about. But I had this poster, and I love that back in the day. So this is the one you're talking about, right? Jay Figures and such. Love that. I wouldn't mind getting this in figure form too, but Cage is one of my favorite characters, and Nick Cage as well. So I think we all love as many versions of him as we could possibly get. A lot of people keep mentioning the mullet look. I get it, but Bishop has had several hairstyles over the years. You're right, Jamelin. So, I don't think I would care too much about having different versions of Bishop. I think I'm going to get him anyway. Of course, with Marvel Legends, I might wait till I see him for a cheaper price, but for sure I'm going to get him. The head sculpt for Storm is gorgeous. Lefty Two Lions, BK. Really nicely done. And I was, the faraway pictures, like, it's cool, but I think that head sculpt kind of sold me. Now, what I want to do with the hair might be a different story, but that head sculpt really looks good. I also need a Bishop in my collection because I don't have one. After Child, you and Blake are going to love this series because it's really filling some great takes on characters that have been around for a long time and really have nice looking figures, especially if you don't have the older versions. Jamelin, I was so happy when he cut it into a fade in the late 90s and later grew dreads. I didn't love the dread look because I felt like that's where a lot of comic book artists are like, cool, let's throw dreads on these characters now. So I like the fade look a lot more. I like the short hairstyle that we're seeing with this figure. So, but I feel like Bishop has had different costumes, and I kind of like to see some other looks for him. So either way, I'm going to get him. Randall, McFarlane, and Marvel, dang, both brought it today. And G.I. Joe is coming tomorrow. With all that build up and hype from Marvel, McFarlane, the Classified Series team is just like pulling a Jack Nicholson, wait till they get a load of me. It's going to be amazing to see them tomorrow. Comfortable. That Midnight Suns wave looks good. We'll get into that in just a second. Henry G, hello, brother Jeff. Hope you had a great day. My day was great. Talked about Mayfex earlier, so if you guys missed that one, that was a recording, not a live stream, so you can check it out. But I was really excited what I saw with Mayfex earlier today. Comfortable. Does the helmet come off with a Magneto? Looks as if it may. I don't think so. They didn't mention it during the panel, during the live stream, and they definitely didn't show a picture of it off, so I don't think so. It might be one of those cases where you can kind of pry it off. I don't think there's going to be a hair sculpt underneath it, so it may be a deal if you just wanted to see what it looked like. You could pry it, put a little hot water, and peel it off, but I don't think it's removable in this case. If they can make a Crystar, they can make a Conan. They're not going to, because Conan's back to the old license. Marvel didn't have him in their setup anymore. We're one step closer to a VHS Spider-Man. Well, they've done several, so you won't have to worry about him. Being a 5-figure, what's going on? Not yet. That's coming soon. We are definitely going to talk about that. August, bro, what's up? Decided to sell all my Marvel Legends to fund this Ghost HasLab. That thing's amazing. Planning on getting signed by the actors. That would be cool. 80s kid from the 90s. I need the Wolverine and Magneto for sure, but Bishop looks cool too. Savage Land, what's going on, brother? I'm excited about that Mayfex Superboy. Hush Scarecrow is fire. He is. They knocked that sucker out. Marvel Legends 20, yes. Captain America puts the Marvel Legends 20 years. Captain America puts the Mayfex to shame. Yeah, just not really loving that Mayfex cap, but Blake and some of y'all are like, this is cool. This fits in for a 70s cap. So y'all love it. That's awesome. I think this 20th cap is better for me. But of course, I have 10 Captain America figures. So what do I know? Ryan, what's going on, man? Anything new we're talking about? Just a little bit. Ken, we got a Blade, boys. Looks like Blade's back on the menu. I must say one thing. A little bit, I like the Mayfex Black more than the NECA version. Oh, okay. Republic Commando, what's going on? What up, though? Ren Rock 80s Rants and Real Talk. Just woke up. Is that a classic Wonder Woman in your thumbnail? It is happening. Yes. Let's talk about that. For sure, James Jr. 30. What's up, Kelly? J Figures and such. Crystal now is Rom. This Space Knight next. Let's go. I mean, you got to assume that's going to be the case, right? Blake says, I won't be getting the Mayfex cap. It's the worst. The Thor is passable. Oh, man. I thought she liked the cap. Power Man, yes. New Bishop looks fire. He does. I'm really happy with how Bishop, Storm, Gambit, and Wolverine, of course, that Magneto turned out. Lots of really good options. So you all have been talking about it. Let's get into this Midnight Sun, this latest wave here, starting off with the Midnight Sun video game, Iron Man. And, you know, it's an Iron Man figure, but it looks to be slightly different than some of the other 40 Iron Man figures we've gotten in the past. I like this design on his arc reactor. That's cool. This color scheme really pops. I mean, I think in terms of that end, it's a pretty nice looking Iron Man figure. I just really wish I didn't have to get the Build-A-Figure because I think they've been doing so well. You don't want this Iron Man? No problem. You don't have to. But this one, I noticed that the Gamerverse Iron Man and Captain America, they tend to add in with the Build-A-Figure piece. So you've got no choice but to get them. But here's a cool thing that maybe you all didn't notice because I did not until just this moment. Take a look at this hand here. Now, this is the Repulsor Blaster hand. It's got the hinge at the wrist. And that's where so few of these Iron Man figures have lacked, where it's just kind of like a spin joint. This one you can actually move up and down. So we're seeing improvements on this mold finally after so long. That's really good to see. Finally, Lady Bullseye finally gets her moment in the spotlight. She was, teased, revealed way back when, before they decided we don't do Marvel Legends so well. Let's go back to the drawing board. Now we're finally getting her. I don't really care about most of these. Hey, let's take a character and turn her into a woman, or turn him into a woman and have her adapt this role. But I think Lady Bullseye has a very unique look, and it's not just hey, I'm wearing the dude's costume. I like this. She can be a totally different character. Comes with all the big torso part of the Build-A-Figure, who I'll get into in a second. Love the fans with the blades. That's really cool. And I really like her look. Of course, I can't quite see, and I'm not sure if that's a coincidence, but it looks like she's got the bicep articulation, double jointed hands or arm elbows. So that's good. Can't quite tell about the pinless joints. I'm waiting for Hasbro to send along the full gallery of these pictures, but she looks pretty good. Now I've got Blade. Still not quite that Wesley Snipes comes to the Marvel Legends comic book look, but it's so much better than that last terrible version of Blade, so I'll be happy to get this. He comes with a bunch of stuff, and I still feel a little bit jealous, greedy that we don't have an alternate head sculpt because he can't be snarling every time he's around people. And I just wish he had more of a quiet, like, mouth closed expression. Otherwise, this is a really nice looking Blade. I love that he is so geared up. He's got his sword. You can see the detail on that here. That looks really good. This Fierce head sculpt is awesome. I mean, we got to show Blade with his vampire teeth. So I get it. This looks to be sort of like the armor that he wore in the movie. So that's cool. And I guess his trench coat is better than some of the other ones we've seen. And we've got double jointed pins. Why are we still bringing out pins with these figures in 2023? Crazy. And I keep forgetting to talk about the big reveal. Bam! No more freaking closed off plastic. We get the full deal now. There's no illusion. There's no mystery. There's a figure here. All the accessories intact. Yes, we're back with the full window, baby. That's great. Really excited to see that because I feel like every time I go to the stores, I'm playing roulette with them. Like, is everything going to be intact? Is the figure here? And as soon as what I do when I get home, take the little X-Acto knife, peek in there. Okay, everything's great. Let's go and review it way later. Then we get Clea. Clea is definitely a necessary character. Ties in very tightly with Doctor Strange. This seems to be more of a classic look for her. At the panel, they were like, what do you guys think? Is this more what you guys want? And I was like, heck yeah. I wasn't even there, but I was like, absolutely. Thank you, please. More of this. I like her color scheme. Definitely different than most of the magical characters. She's not rocking a red Scarlet like Scarlet Witch, have a lot of blue like Doctor Strange or the red that he's rocking. And I love the work on her tights here. So it's got that signal symbol going there. Her head sculpt looks pretty cool too. Fortunately, it's not looking up and down and left and right like an old school McFarlane figure. I do wish they'd come up with a different accessory piece already. I mean, we're still recycling the same old thing for back in the day. But I do like the Build-A-Figure has different hand options. That's really cool and very welcome to see. Also, then we got Daredevil. This is the modern one that goes with your Daredevil Electra figure. And I haven't read this, but Daredevil looks cool. Matches up nicely with that Electra figure. So maybe it's time to check them out. But he looks great. He's got this big staff, and he's got his stats, of course. I really wish they could figure out a better way to do this where we didn't have this plug piece all the time, but I don't know what they could do differently. And as usual for modern characters, when they want to show some edge, he gets a beard, so he's got that now. But it's a pretty decent modern look of Daredevil. If you guys are reading that, let me know if it's worth checking out. Then we've got this one that I'm just not as excited about. I am assuming I'm going to stockpile these when I see them next year in Ollie's all over. But this is the Fist Ninja, and I really love this head sculpt with the skeleton there. That's cool. But he's basically a retooled version of the Hand Ninja. Dwight said that they had made some fixes, some alterations to make him pose a little bit better. I don't need to totally revamp and rebuy my ninja army, but this is cool, especially since they're basically using the same accessories. But really nice job with that skull piece. I like that, and that'll help distinguish them from my Hand Ninja. So that's a cool addition to this line. But of course, the one I was most excited about, and then Blake was, and I know some of the rest of y'all were too, finally, Luke Cage, Power Man. So we get both of them covered, to avoid any confusion. This is him. Dwight said he does not have some of the articulation that you might expect. Check out that torso. He doesn't have the ab crunch, but it's fine because he's got that tilting torso, so he can rock back and forth. That should be fine for him anyway. He's built a little taller, so he should stand above most of your average characters, which is also good. He doesn't have much by way of accessories. I really wish they'd given him a grimacing, teeth, gritted, head sculpt, additional one. But I do like that he's got the grasping hands because, you know, you got your powerhouses that can grab somebody else and just pound them with the other fist. So I'm happy with this figure. We've been waiting to see so much more than the render, and I think they really delivered on it. And I think there's definitely a 2-pack option later on down the road with Iron Fist with different colors. So we'll see that. So that's that whole wave. What do you all think about that one? So much. Good deal. All right. Power Man, indeed. Jamelin says, over 80 watching, only 22 likes. I appreciate all the likes. Thank y'all, fellas. But thank you, Jamelin. You didn't miss anything on Classic Wonder Woman, Kelly. I haven't gotten to McFarlane yet, but there's a whole lot to unpack on that one. JMR30. JMJR30. The ladies of 97 look like they gave the single hinge elbows. Bruh. I'm right there with you. I mean, how are you releasing new figures now that still have this old school articulation, especially when you got a better mold that's so good? That's the one you're all like, this is great. And it's like, yeah, absolutely. And you've got the Black Widow mold, which is even better. So I don't get it. Christopher Vose, what's going on? So many things I want, so few things I can pre-order yet. And so much stress about them selling out before I have a chance. Chuckles, Fireteam, Padawan, Ahsoka, Street Fighter, Casey Jones, etc. I think for the most part, you're going to be okay. You're not going to have to worry about these things selling out, besides maybe Chuckles. And even then, I think Hasbro is going to keep cycling them back through, like we saw with Serpentor and Dr. Mindbender. Yeah, you had to be at the ready, but I think you can get them still. Since I mentioned it, PulseCon is coming up a couple months from now, so get ready. There are going to be a bunch of pre-orders, lots of things that we're seeing at Comic-Con that we'll see here. What is that Build-A-Figure? Looks like a volcanic charred juggernaut. Yes, I realized I didn't show you all what the Build-A-Figure for this wave was. So let's show you that right now. It is a really odd choice for a Build-A-Figure because it's kind of an army builder, and I don't know why they decided this was the right way to go. It is the mindless one, and these guys are fighting these guys all the time. They're bad guys and army builders, and I don't quite understand why they thought this was the way to go. But I mean, the sculpt is fantastic. It's got a nice red stream going, and you can take that out. So it's just like that Cyclops, the not astonishing, the whatever that new X-Men version of Cyclops that we just got. But I think the figure looks great. Lots of good detail on it. And it is astonishing. Cyclops now got stuck in my head. But yeah, this is really cool. But, you know, we could have gotten an army builder like this. And I bet people like me would have bought several of them to fight the Avengers, etc. But he looks really good. And I think he's got some really good size based on everything we've seen. But yeah, he's more of an army builder. So it's surprising they went that route. Especially since their characters, like even Gladiator, would have been fine for a Build-A-Figure, and I wouldn't have been upset. Maybe they could have redone Mr. Hyde and give him more of a classic look, since they kind of did a mix and mash of classic and old school looks in this set. Look at her eyes, beautiful. I see we're talking about Clea, but yeah, they did a really nice job with her. And there's the bat for that wave. Why does she look like Katana in Mortal Kombat? Daniel, thank you so much. It was me, gentlemen. I just bought a blade on the secondhand market. You're welcome. Thank you. I mean, we got to put our list together for Daniel to buy super high prices from the secondary market. So then it's like, yes, thank you so much for coming through and helping us one more time. 80s Kid from the 90s says Marvel Legends could have had potential for 2023. I mean, I think they've had a pretty decent 2023. I think it's been a lot better than 2022. Maybe 2021. I don't remember the whole lineups and all that, but I think they've had a strong year. I mean, when you look at what they put out, I mean, the Avengers wave alone is really strong, really solid. We got a better version of Hawkeye. We've got Iron Man Mark 1 finally getting Monica and Rambeau, even though she's got that old articulation. We got Secret Wars, Doctor Doom, Black Knight, and Cersei for your 90s squad. And of course, we don't even have that HasLab just yet, but I mean, it's been a pretty strong year. Got a better Destroyer. We've gotten that X-Men Build-A-Figure Chode Wave, Corsair, Cyclops, Emma Frost, Chamber, Monet, even threw in Fang just to get me excited about starting Imperial Guard, which you're never going to finish. Mr. Cheeseburger, why does Star Wars never learn? No fan is paying $500 for a HasLab. Whew, the price is something. X-Men 97 looks great, though. So does Vision. So they have really good figures, and it's just a matter of which ones, when I tabulate everything out, which made this year better than other ones. I think this one's going to be a pretty strong one. Roberts, Infinite Realms, what's going on? I do like that blade. I might pick it up. Is that the same body as last time for Blade? Alpha Proto? No, I don't believe so. I think this is definitely not that one. It's, if nothing else, then those legs are the giveaway, because that Palladium body was trash. And it was trash on Palladium, and it was even worse for Blade. But no, it definitely doesn't look like that. And maybe they used that torso, but I think everything else is new. And the jacket is definitely better. I think at the very least, if they fix that part up there with the torso, it should be all right. Now you've got me curious, though, so let me go and just verify for sure. And I'm not telling you something incorrect. Nobody likes a loudmouth who's wrong and assuming that they know what they're talking about. Let's go to my resource and see here. But I really think this Palladium figure is just all bad. And let's see. So this is what Palladium looks like. That's that version of him. Let's see, Blade, that torso section. So let's see again. Looks like the belt is different. Good. The torso also looks different. Yes, I think so. I think this is a different body. Anyway, I don't think the torso is the issue so much. It was the legs that made him super gimpy and couldn't pose, but I think they fixed that on this figure. So here's hoping there's no problem there. Mr. Cheeseburger, Blade, Power Man, and Smythe are a must. I agree. Those are really strong figures from the comic book wave. Cresver, I don't think I've bought a single windowless figure in person. So you've been going the online route. And the only reason that works for me is because I get them on clearance. But yeah, I haven't been really thrilled and happy with those. I'm very happy that they're going back to the old style, the old way that no one wanted to see change. Just as Mattel is starting to change and add some more cardboard onto theirs. I order online, so the packaging doesn't matter to me. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have done that. So for everybody who goes online, it's not an issue. But I still like to see the figures in store because, you know, it's a crapshoot if they actually give you a good paint job when you order online. So it's definitely something, especially for Marvel Legends. I appreciate being able to look at different versions of the figure on the pegs. And now I can actually see soon enough. Clea looks good. She does, 80s kid. She's pretty too. Must have. Yeah, JR. You know, it's like we don't have, it's not like the days of Scarlet Mitch where it's like, oh my gosh, what did you do? This is a nice looking head sculpt. Works for Clea as well. Bert, what's up? I wish the Blade figure came with different packaging like the old classified G.I. Joe figures. What packaging would you want for Blade? Oh, just never really liked her very much. I get it. I really want to get Clea. I really like that figure. Aftershock, I think she turned out nice. Blade, don't even know Clea, but that hair is striking. Yes. Chamberlain, oh, I didn't realize Blade only has the one head sculpt. Yeah, I'll be getting them. But I think they could do a little better on a character in such high demand that they haven't done many versions of. Especially since, I mean, just the different head sculpt. Because the one that they did back before that Palladium one, and on the Palladium mold, he at least had different head sculpts. They went with the going bald version of Blade, but that was better than nothing. And so pull that up. I was part of that Man Thing wave. Gosh, it's been a while ago now. I didn't realize it had been so long since we'd seen that. But yeah, I mean, he came with different heads, and I don't know, maybe this one actually worked. Which is funny because this one doesn't have the teeth showing in either sculpt. So maybe this one would work just fine because I'm sure we're not going to have a big issue and say this is the classic, this is one I want. A little bit more of a Wesley version, but I think this head sculpt will work just fine for that new modern Blade. So there you go. There's a suggestion. Maybe get them cheap if you wait a little bit longer if you don't already have them. Kelly, the power effects on Clea are so tired. They need to fix them and do a new one that they can reuse for 40 years down the road or 40 waves. Yeah. Robert, something the same on the Fist Ninja, just okay, right. JM Jr. 30. No butterfly shoulders on DD is tragic. That's right. I hadn't thought about that. Luke. Sweet Christmas. Classic Luke Cage, finally. Mr. Cheeseburger, that X-Men wave has me all in for Bishop, Storm, Wolverine, and Magneto. I think this is pretty good. I mean, Rogue is the only one I'm like, but the rest of the figures in that wave are really solid, so pretty solid lineup there. Yes, Legends came through. It would have been tragic if they teased this back in February. Never came out with it this year. It had been, all the way since February since we got that. Luke is fire. Love it. Was waiting for that reveal. Very excited for it. I was too. By the way, I want to give a special shout out to MCU Collector 24 for live streaming the panel, so I didn't have to wait until Hasbro sent me all these pictures. So I really appreciate him for just putting me right there so I could feel like I was sitting in the booth checking out everything with the Hasbro team as well. Alpha Proto, I like the Power Man look over the modern look. The big bald guy look is boring. Yeah, I mean, they did it for Bishop. They did it for John Stewart. So I'm glad to see him in his classic look. My Toy Biz Luke Cage can finally retire. My Toy Biz Iron Fist will retire, but he's like kind of his body. So I didn't have to worry about that. Blake, now we need a classic Falcon. Yeah, because he looks real out of place on my Avengers shelf with those big ball shoulders. It's like, even my Red Wing that can't move, it just plugs into his back, is giving him the side eye. And I really hope that when Hasbro does tackle him, they put the back so he can fit that. Because when they did the Dr. Octopus, and this is before they did the souped up VHS version, you could actually replace the old Toy Biz tentacles and plug them into the new one. And I thought that was so great. And I really would love to see them do that with Falcon, because I don't really want to give away that Red Wing unless they include Red Wing. I know they just did the Thor, and I'm looking over because he's right in my display with the two crows. So maybe they'll make a new Red Wing, but I would love if they made that hole in the back of Falcon so he could fit that too. Ken, Luke Cage is a banger. Absolutely. A big winner all around. Ryan says getting Luke Cage and Blade from that wave, probably pass on the rest. They're solid figures. I think Clea's the one other one that I'm like, yeah, gotta have her, because expands out on the Doctor Strange corner of my shelf. So we have her, got Mephisto, we got Dormammu. I love to see Nightmare coming in, and of course you're gonna have her hanging out with the Defenders too. So she has all kinds of uses. JT the Grind, what's going on? Bell Peppers, what's up? Chip Zdarsky's Daredevil run is pretty good. Been going for a few years now. Bell Peppers, let me know when that started, because I've enjoyed the stuff that I've read from Chip over on DC, and I just have been so far removed from Marvel Comics. I don't even know what would be good to read over there. I know stuff that's not, just based off of what I'm reading online, but that seems like it'd be pretty fun. And I've heard people before talk about that. Afton Child mentions Moon Knight, the Jed McKay run. So got any other Marvel suggestions on what I should be checking out? Let me know. Tom Finn, 2018, Clea's a home run for me. The costume they chose was a really nice surprise, as I was expecting to see Clea's Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme look. Me too. I mean, they're always like, here's the new version no one asked for. And I shouldn't say no one, but I mean, it's like, hey, if this new look is going to last so long, it's going to be the new standard. Let the old one come get its moment in the spotlight. And then 3 years from now, when that new and improved popular costume look is still around, then you can still get that figure. Very pumped for the Vision on Vulcan Buck. Me too, because I'm so tired of Visions being undersized and too small, and having that Vulcan Buck Black Panther next to Captain America, Thor, and Iron Man. I'm like, great. Make every regular size dude on this and I'll be fine. Vision will look great on this, and he won't look scrawny and skinny and all this stuff. Very happy about that one. Matt O'Brien, what's going on? I'm hoping you're having a great Friday yourself. Bert, I want the Blade figure. Alpha Proto, got Volcano guy, but still no Mole Man. That's a very, very good point. I think this is another one of those cases where they're just biding their time because I'm sure they've got a list of all these Fantastic Four characters they're going to roll out. And I don't know if there's going to be an anniversary year whenever this movie comes out because I assume it's going to be delayed another year at this rate. But there are a lot of Fantastic Four characters they could do, maybe in 2-packs. I feel like Mole Man would make for a really great deluxe figure, not because he needs to be so tall and so big, but maybe with the deluxe, they could throw in 5 Moloids with him, and that way it feels like we're getting a little bit more. And he just needs more than one because I got that old Mole Man, and he just came with 1. So maybe throwing in 5 with a little bit of articulation would really justify him being a deluxe figure. Blake, I don't know if the gold label Classic Shaded Batman is only a San Diego Comic-Con person pickup. I do need that as well, so I need to investigate and check in on that because, yeah, I definitely want that figure. I'm just excited that I got my Muhammad Ali earlier today. I still need to check. By the way, kudos to Creations Mattel for actually having your in-demand stuff that people would want where there was no problem. There was no issue. If you wanted to get these things, you could find them with no problem. And it was really great to go and order a Comic-Con exclusive and not have to worry and be like, oh no, now I can't get anything I wanted. Really great to see that. And I just wanted to check real fast to see if all this stuff was still available because I was happy and really excited to go through the checkout process with no issue. Let's see here. Is he still available if anybody wants him? You still can get him. That's great. You get that Jurassic Park Steven Spielberg figure. I think that is such a cool addition to the line, and that's really fun. I don't need to know. I'm here right now checking out your stuff. Let's see if the motherboard is just a crazy looking figure. Check out those wings. I mean, that is just amazing. She's still available. Really cool. And then just this part is just wild because the Joker's wings actually open up. Excuse me. But I mean, check that out. That's crazy and wild. Grab them. But yeah, the motherboard is a really cool looking figure and just wow. Awesome. So I still haven't gotten her yet, but all these Masters of the Universe new Eternia figures are calling to me and it's like, come out and play. I think I'm going to grab her. She's around a little bit longer, but really nice. Glad to see they're still available. They'll make it an exclusive in 2 years. They better not. Snowglare, Marvel Legends Wonder Woman looks kind of cool. Alpha Proto, there's a good chance the mindless ones get a single release later. You were right, and you and Ryan are both dead on. You know Hasbro's tricks now. It's going to be deluxe, but it'll probably be a Walmart exclusive. So even though we think we've won, we're not going to. It's just, Bert, what's up? Those Batman figures from Amazon are amazing. I assume we're talking about the 6-pack challenge that we saw earlier today. And yeah, I was really impressed with how they turned out. I don't need all these versions. I'm not having that super nostalgia, but it's sold out now. So if you did not grab them earlier, you've missed out for now. But you know they're going to be back up later. But it's got all these cool Batman figures from back in the day. Even got Pattinson. We got Batfleck. We've got all of them. Clooney, Christian Bale, Val Kilmer, and of course Michael Keaton. So that's really cool to see all of them in one set. Low Musician, what's going on? Lomo Musician, I think I said that right. First time on your chats, been following your reviews for a while. Yes, I am a subscriber. Really enjoyed this channel. I'm really glad to hear from you. Thank you so much for hanging out in the chat with us tonight. Hopefully it won't be the last time we hear from you again. Kelly, absolutely, Jeff. Very odd choice for Bath. I know it feels like they could have gone so many different routes. If they need ideas for Build-A-Figures, maybe I should do that for another video. Like, hey, here's 10 you can come up with free of charge. Omega 579, that mindless one looks like it'd have been parts for a Kirby thing. And yeah, that's a good point. Maybe they'll use that again. I feel like they're starting to mine parts for Fantastic Four figures whenever the movie comes out. So I think we should see that eventually. Zaire, hope I said that right. What are your thoughts about the Batman and Robin movie wave? I will definitely be talking about them. In short, I hated that movie so much, but I think it's cool for everybody who enjoys it to actually be able to get those figures. Man, we need a giant Dormammu, this 12-inch scale for the mindless ones. That would have been kind of fun. I feel like this is where they need to start dabbling more into their 12-inch line for figures that get bigger and smaller and all that good stuff, where you can just size them up real fast with a 12-inch version. Apocalypse would probably make sense in this kind of scale too. Definitely getting that Blade and Luke Cage. Yeah, I feel like those are going to be the ones where, if you're a clearance waiter, those are going to be the ones you're going to have to grab when they're $17.49 and not wait for them to come all the way down to say $7 like Yondu. Poor Yondu. What's up? When do you think we'll be getting a HasLab Giant Man reveal? So I've definitely been trying to warn you guys we weren't going to see anything about Giant Man at San Diego Comic-Con. Maybe at PulseCon we'll see. Let me check that date on PulseCon just to make sure that I know that, because right now they've got the Ghost, and they want to make sure that they're not stepping on that. They want to make sure that everyone who is ready and excited for it, oh darn it, they don't even have anything for PulseCon even on HasbroPulse.com. So no news on that just yet, but when we do, it will be after this Star Wars HasLab is done, because they do not absolutely want to have two of their HasLabs competing at the same time. They don't want to deal where, hey, I want to get this from Star Wars, and oh wait, no, I want to get the Marvel Legends. What they want to do, just like we saw with the Dragonfly, wrap up the crowdfund so it's done on Monday, and then today's Friday, here's the new HasLab. So they want to have that buffer time so people, I think they can still cancel the Dragonfly if you really needed to, but for the most part, they've set it up so one window closes and the other door opens. So that's what they're going to do. So we probably won't see the Marvel HasLab until probably probably September. So that would be where I would put my money. So you got a little bit of time to start saving up for it. Then Miss Frank, what's up? Wow, that Blade is a nice surprise. Yeah, I'm really happy to see him too. When I saw this wave, I really didn't care, but now seeing them, now I want to get this wave. Pablo, what's up? Am I the only one who's excited about Power Princess? No, you are not. I'm like shocked that they took the time to focus on a team. Let me talk about that in just a second. All right, so next up was the latest San Diego Comic-Con Spider-Man VHS set. It's Spider-Man and Smythe. That's a nice looking, cool 2-pack. And definitely for those of you who've been collecting these, I think there's a really good addition. Smythe looks cool. Peter Parker looks good. And no pins on Peter Parker. And he can hold the camera. That's cool. And, got him in his Don Johnson look. And it's always cool to get more civilian figures. And since he doesn't look like classic comic book Peter Parker, he can definitely fit in and be any civilian you need. Smythe is a really nice looking figure though, and I don't think he has pins either. And so he's a really good addition, especially if you just wanted a basic villain to add into your collection too. Mark Turner, what's up? I've been waiting for this Power Man. Finally, yes. Oh, Christopher, it is absolutely true. Some of my buddies have been going through this same thing too. There have been a lot of reports of people buying windowless only to find it had been opened, replaced, and resealed. Even online, a YouTuber opened a Dungeons & Dragons figure live and had the wrong D&D figure. You almost need to just go in. So this is what I use. I just take this. You have to imagine it's got the window. And normally you just get them from the bottom there, pull it out real fast, and you can see what's there really quickly, really fast, because especially if you're waiting on something to hit clearance. Wow, that made a lot of noise. Sorry. But if you're waiting for stuff to hit clearance and then it's like, hey, there's 2 on the shelf, you almost want to buy 2 just to make sure that they're actually in there. Because I have definitely felt on some packages and it's like, this looks like it's been tampered with, and you can see the tape job looks a little dicey. So you really have to be careful with them. Unfortunately, we'll have to much longer. May need to find that old man thing head for Blade to swap out. I think that'll definitely be a way to go. And I think that head will fit on the new Blade bug, Ken. Clea head on Sue Storm. Now that's an interesting call, Hoodlum. Kelly, Blade with a smoldering head sculpt would have been a home run. Yeah. Martin, I can see them re-releasing Blade with a different head in his motorcycle later on down the road. Now that would be cool. I feel like they've really done the thing with Blade. I mean, he could be a legendary rider. We haven't seen any of those in a long time, but he's a really great candidate. Along with Dan Ketch. I don't know, maybe putting Ghost Rider on a bike would be cool. Mike D, Hasbro lost so much money on cardboard, and you know they were feeling that crunch because they're like, Windows for everybody, guys. And this is a lot faster than I thought we were going to see. I mean, the X-Men 97 line, they had that retro style, so they don't have to worry with it. This Spider-Man Wave of Tarantula Rose retro card, so I feel like they've been kind of skirting around it, so there are not going to be too many more waves left. Maybe this Avengers one is the last one that we're really going to see with Windows, windowless, but I'm so glad they're back. Jamelin, I still have that Wesley version and a 12-inch Marvel Studios version. They are really good figures. I mean, they're holding it down. Daniel, what's up? I'm doing great, man. There's so many cool figures coming out. And the only thing is I feel like my head is doing a beautiful mind trying to piece together how to make all of these figures work under my budget. These reveals have me hyped too. After Child, I just remembered something today. Showed off some images for Spider-Man No Way Home figures. They did tease Dr. Octopus for No Way Home. So stay tuned. I'm sure we're going to see some more very soon. I highly recommend Spider-Man Life Story. Perfect. I'm going to give that a check for sure. Thank you. Ryan says Chip's run started with the new #1 in 2019. Wow, this has been going on for a second, man. I'm glad to see there's creators who can stay on books for more than 2 months now. That's awesome. I really like Al Ewing's Defenders and Defenders Beyond. Thank you so much. First, second, I'll check that one out too. I love having new stuff to read because I feel like DC is kind of in this weird pattern. So I'd love to read some good DC, some good Marvel. Mark Waid Daredevil's better than Chip. Waid's Daredevil run is the best Daredevil comic run written in the 21st century, in my opinion. Juan, I am loving Mark Waid's work on Batman, Superman, World's Finest. I think it is my favorite book right now. I really enjoy his Teen Titans. Shazam has been really fun too. So I'm gonna have to check out Waid's Daredevil run because I've really enjoyed what he's been doing. Daniel, the new Wonder Woman is a new man line. Yeah, she is. Snapshot reviews. The only thing Blade is missing is his gun, but now I have a reason to get the Patterson Batmobile. Oh, and have that as Blade's car. That's a good call. All right, I love what we're thinking, coming up with some different ways for me to spend money. I love that idea so much. Snapshot reviews, thank you. James Green, what's going on? Comfortable. Yeah, the Zarsky Daredevil 3 will be getting the trades. I've been following the story on YouTube. I want to get it for myself. Perfect. I will be grabbing that as well. JMR, JMJ, I don't know why I keep forgetting the J. I got that Ali too. He looks amazing. Yeah, man, that's going to be really fun. No problem at all getting things for San Diego Comic-Con. I know, it's so refreshing to actually have it like that, right? That's just Joe. What's up? The cloth capes give me hope for vehicles coming our way. Absolutely. Yeah, for the McFarlane Batman 6-pack. Though the standalone one with the Batmobile also has cloth capes, so that's exciting. And hopefully we'll see a lot more with cloth capes. Don't worry about the bath. They'll do single releases at some point. I know how jaded we've gotten with Marvel and their Build-A-Figures. Like, yeah. Y'all are just going to put it out later, and they really should not do that because they started this pattern and trend, and people are just like, yeah, no, not biting anymore. Randall, already have Affleck and Bale. Keaton is coming with the Batmobile. So the Battison. Clooney's is coming individually. Kilmer with the Panther version, and the Batman Begins is what I wanted. Could the Mindless One's body be used for an awesome Andy? Maybe a 2-pack with the Mad Thinker. So that would be cool. And that does seem like something that could work. September 22nd is PulseCon. Thank you, Ryan. No idea why they didn't do Begin suit, Panther Forever suit, and Batman versus Superman suit. Yeah. Oh, Ryan says probably not. They're pretty different body types usually. You know, Hasbro would never skimp in the cost of saving money. Deladino, hopefully I said that correctly, devastated that the Daredevil in the Night's Wave isn't just a standard Daredevil. I guess they're thinking is they want people to get that 3-pack with Elektra and Bullseye. I wasn't expecting it to be a classic one, but hopefully we'll see one too because I feel like I need to upgrade, and I didn't buy that 3-pack either. So I'd love to see a classic version of Daredevil as well. Roberts, I'm a bit wondering about that tease though. I'm wondering about that tease though. Looked at like Windows Sanctum, Sanctum Sanctorum. I wonder if they were starting to tip into dioramas. That would be a really cool base set. You don't have to do too much, and the window for that could just be fine, and maybe use that as a defender's base too. So that could be something they could do. They also showed the Dr. Octopus tentacle, and I did not put that tease together. But thanks. I'd love to see if they would do dioramas. That would be great. Alpha Proto, cool seeing a new civilian body for Peter Parker. I'll swap out the head with a comic Peter head. I'm trying to remember. I guess they have done one without the half Spider-Man mask that I thought was really cool. Yeah. Matthew, what's going on? I didn't realize this was live. Dope. I was watching your previous video, and this one started right after. Good evening, everyone. Nice. I love that synergy where it just leads into the live. That's perfect. Oh, cool. So you got the Hawkeye Sky Cycle today, and the knees are attached to opposite parts of the leg. Ugh. Ooh. Oh, that's no good. Randall, I saw one YouTuber buys the figures on clearance and opens them in front of the employees. If it is a repackage, he takes it right back for a refund. I don't blame him because I've gone so many times to Target, even when they had window packages, and was like, this is clearly not the figure. And a lot of times they'd have multiple figures. I go, this is the figure it should be. This is a totally different one. And then I go, oh, sorry. And then I come back a week later and the swap version was still there. So I stopped doing it. But that's a good way to do that. Ronan, you said it was a retailer blowback on the windowless packaging. Maybe that's why they're all hitting clearance. Yeah, Blade cloth cape on a motorcycle. Legend said that after doing that with the new Hawkeye, they continue if needed. That was true. So maybe that will work out. GM, JR. I may have to get that Peter Parker. He looks like he walked off the screen. I do think that turned out really nice too. Do you think the No Way Home Doc Ock will be a standard release or a deluxe set with a high price tag? Which one do you think Hasbro would choose? Of course, they're going to go with the deluxe price tag, but I'm thinking for sure they're going to say like, hey, look, we did all this extra stuff. We got to charge y'all more. But the real question is, will it be like $50 deluxe? Because I could see them doing that. And I wonder if they would make those tentacles so you could stand on them. That might make it be worthwhile to me, but I wonder how fancy, how sophisticated they're going to be. Also hoping the bendy wire tentacles are incorporated with it. They better. I mean, if they're just straight out tentacles, that's not going to work, especially now. Captain Underpants, they literally lost 2 figure purchases for me every time a product I wanted came out. Dude, so many awesome figures drop. Life Story is dope. Thank you. So there's another recommendation for that. Do not read Zeb Wells' Spider-Man. It's a terrible read. The new night. I love the Nightwing books. Nightwing has been awesome. Tom Taylor is killing it on that title. I've been reading it. I've been reading Nightwing faithfully since Rebirth, and I feel like that was one of the Rebirth titles that has been pretty consistent when they had, who are all the different writers on there? They've had a bunch, but they haven't had a lot of bad issues. But I think Tom Taylor's been killing her on it, and such a great read. Titans has been really good too, so really happy with Nightwing, and I definitely recommend that one, as well as Batman, Superman, World's Finest. Miguel Perez, what's up? Does anyone know if the Blade or Clea are suits from the 90s or before? If so, I'm getting, but if they're from the 2000s on, then it doesn't work for my collection. I don't know exactly what the time frame are for those outfits. I feel like Blade's look is really 90s and kind of a timeless 90s. They didn't do anything too specific. I know he's been running around in the Avengers as of late, but I don't know if that attire he's rocking right now is set to be like a modern look for him. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, he's been doing there was some wild stuff with all these characters. Trying to see if, there we go. Let's put that so I can actually show the Blade. Now, this is what he looked like in the most recent version of Avengers. So I don't think that's this version we're getting in this figure. So I think this is a totally different look. Legacy Lions BK, that Man Thing Wave Blade goes for some money. Choose wisely, gents. Nice. That's no good. Cam, that blade they showed looks like a top 10 figure of the year. The only issue is I feel like if you have an expression, this is definitely something I was getting annoyed with Mattel with their WWE line. If you have an angry, intense, fiery head sculpt, just add a second one where there's neutral, because you can't have your figures standing around like this every time. I mean, it doesn't make sense in some poses. Ditto for a smiling expression. Just go with the standard neutral one if you don't include anything else. But a character like Blade, I get it with the teeth, but also have another head sculpt in there. When is Power Princess coming out? Don't know. They didn't announce where she's coming and how she's getting out to us. Legacy Lions, too many drops between HasLab and Mattel McFarlane, and the way my checking and savings work, I'm taking my wallet to the ER. Good luck in getting that together, man. Daniel, side note, I got a piggy guard from Black Series at for $16.99. I'm gonna have to get some Gamorrean guards then. That's a great price. Finally, a classic Wonder Woman. Exactly. I would like to see the Marvel Legends team make a new yellow Daredevil figure. That would be good too. Maybe they'll do this as a 2-pack. I guess Daredevil has a TV show coming eventually, and maybe they'll sink in the classic version of Daredevil when Echo drops, which I guess is October or later on this year. So maybe we'll see the yellow and red later on. What are the chances of them ever releasing a classic Blade? Now, you talking old school classic Blade, or you talking Wesley Snipes version? I think that when that Blade TV movie drops, we'll probably see all kinds of different versions of Blade, and I wouldn't be shocked if that wasn't coming or in the works soon. Matthew agreed on Nightwing. It's my wife's favorite since the Marv Wolfman Teen Titan days. Rebirth and after Nightwing has been pretty good. Yeah, I mean, even during New 52, where I was very selective with my DC titles, Grayson was really fun and really good. I think Dick Grayson is just the kind of character that works no matter who's working with him, as long as they're not doing terrible character assassination. And I think everyone they've had writing on him has been really good. But this version of Nightwing, I think, is one of those where it's like, hey, what's so great about comic books? Here, read Nightwing. When it comes to Blade, the closer he looks to the movie Blade, the better. The flat top, long coat, and shades just work. I know it's a really classic look, and I feel like of all the different Marvel movies, we have our favorites, but I think with Blade, when you think of him, if you're a certain age, that's what you think of. You don't think of a comic book look necessarily, and I think he's one of the very few that goes solely around the comic book to, I want the one that looks like he does in the movie. And I probably, like, another one for me is Zod, General Zod. Oh, you're talking about the old school. You want the fro and everything with the big glasses. I think they can work that in whenever that show comes out. So don't be shocked to see it. And I don't think it's impossible for that to come. So now we also had a rack of other reveals and reviews from the Marvel Legends team. First and foremost, one figure that I have been waiting on forever, a classic Vision, one that doesn't look like a shrimp next to everybody else, one who has some actual real size to him, and he looks great. He's using the Vulcan mold. I think that head sculpt works just fine. I still wish they could figure out a way to do his cape cowl a little bit better, just have the full high collar popping up, but that looks pretty close. He actually has the rope around his collar for a change. That's good to see. And that head sculpt expression looks dope. And I really like how this mold works on him. He's no longer looking skinny. Village joints, which is great to see, of course. And he looks really, really good. So really happy with how Vision turned out. And then we had some more reveals, and you all have mentioned this, Zarda, the Power Princess, aka the final member of the Squadron Sinister, Squadron Supreme, and Marvel's answer to Wonder Woman. Really nice work on this figure, and the Marvel Legends team was going, hey, look, we do finish teams. And I'm like, yeah, this was an easy layup team. It's 5 members. I bet there are another couple of teams that have 5 members if you focus really hard on, like the Inhumans. You could have finished a long time ago. Rifle 4, only 4 of them. You can finish them just as easily. X-Factor, you can knock those out. Just need one more. Excalibur, ditto. I can keep going on, but it's nice to see this figure. She looks really, really good. And honestly, if you're really skilled with your hand, you could probably customize her into a really nice Marvel Legends Wonder Woman on your own. And then, before they're finished taking their bows on, hey, we're completing teams, they show this travesty. And I have been clamoring for more New Warriors for so long. And they're like, hey, we delivered that justice you guys have been waiting on. And it's like, no, guys, they showed Night Thrasher, they showed the Way Too Tall Speedball, they showed Firestar, they showed Nova, and they showed this. It's like, no, no, no. This is all wrong. This is not at all the justice. That's part of the classic version of New Warriors. This is this version that we got. And this is not classic New Warriors. So to show him hanging out with those other figures, it's not the move. It's not the look. It's not the version of justice that we wanted. I mean, I wanted the Marvel Boy version with just a straight up blue and white, not all this extra stuff. This version makes him look too young anyway. And this is not at all what I was hoping to see from Justice. And I don't get it. It's one of those deals where Hasbro really works hard, especially to their Marvel Legends team. It's like you feel like they've finally figured out, they've got it pieced together, they're on the right track, see this Avengers Beyond Earth's Mightiest campaign, and then they put out a figure like Justice, where it's like, no one asked for that look. We want to complete the New Warriors, the team from back in the day, from the 90s. It's not like you need to search all this way to figure out what the New Warriors look like. And it's a very simple, very easy Google search. I know that's what they love to do when they figure out the looks for these teams, but I don't understand what's so hard about just going, hey, make these guys in figure form. So, by my count on this, we still have Night Thrasher, we have Firestar, we still need this version of Marvel Boy. I mean, it's just nothing like it. I'll even take the cowl off. But I mean, this is what I want for my New Warriors Marvel Boy / Justice. Still need Namorita. I wouldn't mind a Kid Nova version with the red and maroon version. And I wouldn't be upset about having a smaller, more scale version of Speedball either. What do you guys think? Outlaw X, definitely getting that Blade, Power Man, missed out on first Rogue and Magneto, so they're a must. My maybes are that Peter Parker, Kingpin, and the Doc Ock, depending on that price tag. And that price tag is going to be real special, I'm sure. Ryan, I want a whole wave dedicated to 70s Marvel horror. Werewolf, Dracula, Blade, Cantu, the Living Mummy, the Monster, Frankenstein, Man-Thing re-release, Howard the Duck, etc. I'd love for them to do that whole box set from the old school Toy Biz days and release all those characters. I would happily get them too. Daniel, get back to work. Thanks for hanging out with us and chilling. JT the Grind Vision is my favorite reveal. I think they did a really nice job with him. JMJR30 says, I'm going to stick with the Diamond Select Classic Vision. It's amazing. That was why I was waiting all this time and not picking up that Diamond Select, because I felt like Marvel Legends were going to be like, yeah, we've done all these other figures, time for a Vision. And that was why I was really looking at that Marvel Select. He was just a little bit too tall, and I figured Hasbro was eventually going to come through. 2023 has been the year of the upgraded figure. It really has. Jay Wood says, amen, brother. That's still in my top 10 of the year. I know a lot of people like that Vision, so I don't know if any of y'all are going to be too upset about not having to upgrade. Power Princess is a must-buy. She looks fierce, and she completes the team, which is great. Blake, they did the torso articulation on Vision well, but his boots at the top are great. I'm assuming you're saying aren't great. Good-looking figure, though. Never thought of him as a heavy hitter. I always saw him as Ant-Man style Buck, the new one. It's funny because I've kind of thought of him. Oh, here we go. Let's see if this works. Going old school classic with Neil Adams here in the mix. Kind of thought of him as more, along the same lines as Iron Man and Captain America. Kind of get a sense from this panel here that he's kind of wide in the chest, just like Cap. Definitely not the same size as Thor, but I'm kind of cool with getting a Vision who at least matches up more favorably with Captain America. Tom Finn, Vision more of a direct upgrade from the original Toy Biz version than earlier Hasbro versions, and that is a good thing. I hate that Justice figure. Same, easy pass. I'm not even going to compromise and go, well, this will stand until they do a better one. That figure, for the fans who love it, awesome. I have no interest. That's not the Justice figure / Marvel Boy that I wanted. They could have done Justice, and even though that's not really the version that I wanted of Vance, this one is so far off what I was hoping for. And later, like in 2025, San Diego Comic-Con, hey, you guys were saying it, we finally delivered. Here you go. You guys are complaining that you didn't like that original Justice. Here you go. And it's like, that's all we wanted in the first place. No Namorita, enough said. Yeah, no, when they were showing off, I mean, the team they've done so far is like, cool, here's the box set with Silhouette Namorita and Justice / Marvel Boy. And it's like, oh, that's it. What a letdown. Simon Garth. The Vision does look good. I knew I was forgetting somebody. That Diamond Select Vision is excellent. I do still need one that scales with my Legends Avengers. I mean, other than the all-white one. Yeah. And I'm not necessarily loving that all-white one, but I have it, and I needed him for my temporary phase in the 90s. Hot take. Vance Astro Justice / Marvel Boys never had a really good costume, so I don't care. That is a hot take. I feel like some of his early ones were just nice and basic, fitting more of an old school classic look, but every iteration he's had, like from when he joined the Avengers, it's been bad. It's been getting increasingly worse. So I think for him, simple old school is way better. It always seems to be the characters you want the most. In this case, Justice against the careless, haphazard treatment. Yeah, I mean, it is just wild to me that that's the version they decided to go for with him. Because it's like, really? But in fairness to the Marvel Legends team, if you go into Google, this is the first versions that pop up. It's this more modern version, and it's this version. So if they don't go further and stretch out all the way, they never notice that, hey, this is more the version that's the popular Vance Astro classic look in figure form. So I just don't know. They would have been happy getting this version with the cowl down. It's just not loving what they did on that one. In my mind, Vision is like the Martian Manhunter on the taller side. And that's why I hated these other ones. I shouldn't say hated. I was really disappointed that I had like a Scarlet Witch that was towering over Vision. Now we're going to have one that can actually be taller than her, look eye to eye with Iron Man and Cap, and just slightly look up to Thor, which is fine by me. Dark Six Soldier. I thought Marvel Legends HasLab was next up. They teased it probably a little bit too early because I know a lot of you all have been like, when are we going to see this? But they said this in live streams from Star Wars from a long time ago, and they were very clear. We're going to show this at San Diego Comic-Con, and that's why the G.I. Joe one wrapped right before. And I thought it was kind of funny that they didn't just stretch into a couple days into Comic-Con, but seeing that Friday was the drop, it made sense, and they've already started to get backers, so you need people's wallets kind of clear to get the next thing. And they can't have two competing at the same time, because what's better than having people buy one thing, having them buy two? So if you stagger them the way they've been doing, you can kind of convince your backers, your funders of all these projects to keep going, because you're not asking people to come up with $900 in 45 days. I spoke way too soon. No Namorita, no Iron Fist. I can't make this stuff up. Jay, I'm with you. I mean, there seemed like there's some no-brainer layups that we should have gotten for this one. But I guess PulseCon will be coming up soon. Maybe they'll show some well-requested figures then. I think I compare Vision to Adam Warlock. Like in the size, because I kind of feel like Adam Warlock is a big dude too. Sci-Fi George, what's going on? Hasbro needs to do an Imperious Rex 3-pack that features Namor, Namora, and Namorita. I mean, I'd take Namora out and put in a Tuma because we still need a comic book version of him, but I'm down with that 3-pack too. So yeah, it's wild. Green Man, what's going on, man? Well, this replay will be here whenever you get around to it. So let's go on then, since now I've bemoaned the ridiculousness of this Justice figure, which is just terrible to me all around. Here's another look at the mindless one, and I think it's really interesting that even Hasbro is like, hey, here's multiple versions of them, so when you guys want an army build, you can totally get more than one. So I think that was real interesting, and hopefully you guys are right. We'll see some deluxe figures. but I do see the possibility for an old school classic version of the Thing with this mold. And then, of course, they're going to have to figure out this neck piece a little bit differently. But yeah, I can see that. Maybe with an original Kirby take on him, I think that would work. So yeah, not a bad look for the Mindless One. And hopefully we'll see them soon. Here's just another look at that Daredevil. He turned out really nice as well, with more close-up, in-depth photos. So that's good. And then just the trail. Here's Crystar, and I cannot believe they actually released this figure. That is going way back old school to me. And they did mention, this opens up possibilities for other things, which I'm hoping means ROM. I think they did a really nice job with the translucent areas here. Very cool figure, so we'll see what else is on the horizon. Oh, Miranda too, speaking as a Canuck. Yeah, she'd be great and helps us finish off Alpha Flight. And Beltran, what's up? Do they have a pre-order date for X-Men 97? They didn't mention that one either. I did write down the dates for some of them. The VHS Peter Parker and Smythe are coming out tomorrow, 5 p.m. And this Midnight Suns Marvel Knights wave also drops tomorrow. So you've got some tough choices to make as well. Jameland, I think they learned their lesson a little bit from 2021 when there are so many crowdfunders going and overlapping. The bag of bones wasn't the only thing that killed the Rancor. Exactly. I mean, it's like you really have to be mindful of your collector, your customers only have so much disposable income. And if you're making them choose, they're going to go with whatever's cheaper and whatever they have more of an attachment to. But if you give a little space and make them go, well, I've got a whole week before this other one comes up, then they're more likely to buy, especially if they like it. Oh, I did see that Wonder Woman. We're going to talk about her really soon. It feels like they're never going to finish Alpha Flight. And really, to finish Alpha Flight, we need Marina, we need Box, and I don't know how many other characters you have to have. Maybe a separate standalone Madison Jeffries, but I feel like if you did those, most people would be satisfied with getting Alpha Flight completed. But yeah, don't pat yourselves on the back for doing the Easy Squadron Supreme, guys. I mean, nobody was like, we need that team completed and started within a whole year. We need some of these other ones like X Factor, X Force, Excalibur that you've already started completed. So get to that. Finish the Hellfire Club. Where's Leland? Come on already. Okay, another real question is, what do they do to Cap? He's looking a bit sus with that skin tone. Are you talking about the Mayfax one? Or are you talking about the current one for Marvel, the Hasbro one? Because they did a good job with the latest one. I'm sure they'll repaint him, maybe with that cow or the shading around his A. But I think they've done a nice job on him. Thank you, Daniel. I forgot about them. Thoughts on the Infinity Saga reveal. So we've got Iron Man Mark II, and this is the all silver one. I was trying to see if there were pictures of that one yet, but I don't know if they've put, oh, they have. Let me pull those up to make this easier for all of us. So here you go. You asked, I got you. Right. So here's the Mark II Iron Man, and this is before he colors it up. It looks solid. It looks like a nice upgrade over the Mark I, of course. And you see all that detail in there. This is the dots that he put on there. I'm assuming, if I'm remembering that properly, good face deco printing. So that looks cool. And then we had two more reveals. We got Black Widow with the face printing, and that likeness to Scarlett Johansson. My goodness, that's amazing. I mean, look at that. That looks just like her. And they've also done the Avengers head sculpt. I don't know if we're going to see that for this display because it's just the three of them right here. But I love the Wasp effect, the Black Widow's Sting effect. That looks really great. So we've got her in her Winter Soldier look, but you can also go with the Avengers style as well. Sadly, they don't have the head sculpt, but I really like this figure, and I think I'll probably grab her just because I love Natasha. And this head sculpt, again, is really high-end stuff. This is beating out some of the Mayfex. I mean, I know it's a totally different scale, but this is kind of what I'm expecting to see out of Hot Toy likenesses, and they really did it here in a 6-inch form. So really good job with her, and really happy with how that turned out. And then the last one for the Infinity Saga reveals is Bruce Banner. I don't know what's going on with that t-shirt though. I mean, can we sculpt that or just not include it? That looks kind of bad. But a really great likeness again to Mark Ruffalo. Love the curly hair. And I'm trying to remember, this is from his Infinity War look. So we can finally have that roster since they faked this out big time on having the Hulk show up in the movie outside of that one moment fighting, getting his tail kicked by Thanos. But a really good likeness again. And they've done really good work on that. Here's another look at Smythe and Peter Parker. Peter looks a little tall, so I'm a little worried about that. But maybe if I need to start customizing a Miami Vice, I can do that. But yeah, I think they look pretty good. I think they did a nice job with those Infinity Saga reveals. And there's still plenty more characters that they need to do. So it's nice to see they haven't abandoned and forgotten that line too. Alpha Proto, Hasbro just started Gen X. Again, that's another line, another team. And it's like, okay, we'd love to get that team, but we need y'all to complete them. Don't string us along, take a whole 5 or 6 years to add 4 more members and still need so many more. Epic LVL Purple, what's up? Really appreciate you doing the live streams, keeping us up to date with all of the SDCC madness. Thank y'all for watching. If it was just me talking in the echo chamber in my room, this would be a really fast live stream. So you guys make me do it. So thank you. JT the Grind, 80% of people don't even know who the Squadron Supreme are. Shaking my head. I mean, it's funny because I feel like that's an Amazon. I feel like they couldn't even get that away as an Amazon exclusive because Amazon's like, who are these dudes? And it's just weird that they decided that's the team we're going to focus to knock out when there's so many others. They could have done a box set of Rachel Summers, Wolfsbane, Farrell. Maybe make Box a super big version of that. Marina, and put her in there. Another new warrior. And I felt like, man, you guys are really on it. But I don't know what they're doing. The dots on the Mark II must be bolts. Well, I'm curious to see how they look, but thank you, because I wasn't quite sure. It's been too long since I watched Iron Man. I need to fix that. Jalen, it sucks when it takes Marvel Legends longer than like 3 years to complete teams. We end up with figures from different eras, true. Some with pins, with outdated paint, gummy legs, etc., right next to awesome updates. Yes, I mean, I'm looking at my new Warriors, for example, and it's like, Speedball should not be as tall as Nova. He shouldn't be the tallest member of that team. Nova's got weird paints because he's got this gold as opposed to yellow from the comic. Firestar doesn't have the double jointed elbows or bicep articulation that the 3-pack had. Night Thrasher's really the only one that is fine, totally with no issues. And Firestar had those weird head sculpts where it didn't quite fit in with her New Warriors look. So maybe New Warriors box set will fix my problems, but yeah. Kelly, I think there really is Scarlet. I used to look at my Hot Toys figures like, how did you shrink them down? But the fact that Hasbro is shrinking them down even further to make 6-inch figures with that kind of likeness blows my mind. Mayfex Daredevil Classic Cap and all the new DC comic figures reveals got me hyped. Me too. Love to the Inhumans is always nice. I mean, we just now got Karnak. It's like we still need Crystal, Triton, Maximus, Gorgon, and Lockjaw. Just like, jeez. Daniel, I really like the Black Widow on Bruce Banner, but the Iron Man may be a pass. I'm working right now, but I have a lot to say on the reveals. Well, let me know, man. Afterchild, I really like the Mark II Armor and the Winter Soldier Black Widow. Figure can't wait to get them. I think they did a nice job with those for sure. Bruce Robinson, now that Hasbro and Marvel are collaborating again, need comic 6 inches versions of the Micronauts in ROM. Help we get Bug and Guardians of the Galaxy look too. That'd be even better for me. But I would love Micronauts as well. They would make for really great looking figures. And I feel like ROM has got to be coming soon because I mean, we've already seen the tease for Marvel Comics, so we should see him. Mark Ruffalo should come with a screaming portrait. Stop. Yeah, that would be good. See, he's another character that would make sense to have a screaming portrait. Echo Chambers are my last. Roberts, let me know what you're going to do, man. I got to make sure I got subscribed to you, so let me know when you're out there. I'll be out there with you. Seriously, I wish they would have just given the Inhumans a 2-pack treatment and a deluxe Lockjaw. And that would have been so simple for them to do the team. I mean, you already got Karnak, so it would have just taken 2-packs to finish them off. And for whatever reason, this team gets the priority over other teams that we've been waiting to complete for so long. I don't understand it. Sci-Fi George, technically the Squadron Supreme founding members aren't complete without Amphibian and Skymaster, the Skrullian Skymaster. I mean, this is the modern team, which is even more frustrating because it's not like the classic Squadron Supreme. It's the ones that are working with Agent Coulson and Mephisto. So it's all modern, all new, and it's like, guys, there's so many different versions of Squadron Supreme that we could have happily taken instead of this version. I mean, I can have them fight my Avengers. That's cool, but geez, really odd choice of teams to complete. Like printing money in my head, mine too. Taco Bella Lugosi. That's cool. The X-Men 97 Marvel Legends are sick. Agreed. They really turned out nice. After Child, I really want a Masters of Evil figure wave or back, and I want a 12-inch live. I would definitely take a full Masters of Evil wave. The faces on the X-Men 97 alone are kind of selling me because they did really good work on those. Blake, I read the limited issue series of Squadron back in '84. Different team though. They all look different, and they had an Archer plus 3 more members. I'll pick them up on clearance. Yeah, I have the Hyperion and Dr. Spectrum, and I think they're really nice figures. But I mean, there's so many teams I would have rather seen completed. Maybe in the Squadron Center. I mean, the Serpent Society. I know they're doing good work on them, but I'd still like to see more of them. Oh, I mean, they could do 2-packs. They could do waves. I mean, there's still a ton of Masters of Evil characters, and they just focus on them. Did two packs of them, a box set, and we would roll on our way to completing different iterations of the Masters of Evil too. Roger Dodger, what's going on? Matthew Stapleton, what's up? Trying to get a decent team is like trying to get McFarlane to give us hands and heads. I don't know. I feel like he's doing better on that front lately. When are we getting the trailer for the new 97 X-Men animated show? Well, apparently the people in attendance got to see the trailer, so knowing the way that kind of works, we should see leak footage in, maybe an hour or so. What's up, Mummin Zion? How you doing? 2024 is the 60th anniversary of the Inhumans, first wave back in the Fantastic Four. Maybe, just maybe, hopefully, because I would love to see them put a little time and effort, and they're definitely not a team that needs a lot of work. I mean, if they just focus just a little bit, we get them knocked out really fast with no problem. Now let's go on to McFarlane, because I promised we would talk about them today as well. And these are from Toy Shiz by way of Toy News International. So when you're checking them out, here you go. More classic Batman TV series figures. Finally, I can get a Batman. I don't know what was going on, and I did not, so I can finally get him. We have Unmasked Robin. I'm a little bit salty on that because I still need him. I feel like they should pump out classic versions of these two with every other wave for latecomers who are like, what? Sure, I'll get into this line. The real surprise for me here, though, is we got Superman. That's crazy, getting him into this Batman TV series line. We're also getting Robot Batman, Lord Deathman, and the Joker. I actually don't hate on this idea of Masked Joker because this is the look from the movie too, so that's really fun. But I'm going to have to get this Superman, and that's just really cool to have him alongside Batman and Robin, kind of little world's finest in this line too. Then we got some more comic book reveals, and 2 out of 4 aren't bad. We got Black Lightning, and he is not bald. He's another guy back in that time period where it just felt like, okay, let's give him a bald head just because everybody's doing it. I love this costume for him. It's not the classic Afro look, but I really like this outfit. That's a really good choice for him. I don't know what's going on with this. Maybe it's Fear itself or Joker version, Green Lantern. Don't care. Won't be buying it. Supergirl would almost be a hit, but I don't know what's going on with the legs. I mean, this just looks weird with the pants, and it's just killing me with that look. I mean, I want classic Supergirl to fight and beat down Anti-Monitor, and this doesn't work on multiple levels, so I don't know what's going on there. I've already seen Catman. He looks great. Can't wait to get him, even though we got to pay the McFarlane Toys surplus for him. But then this is the real interesting reveal for McFarlane for me. We've got the rebirth version of Batman in the blue-gray variant. We've got Aquaman And then finally, we have Wonder Woman, classic Wonder Woman. No, here's her from this one panel from this comic that no one read. It's classic old school Wonder Woman, but this also looks like it's part of the Ultra Articulated Action Figure series, which means they're probably going to pay $30 for her. And we got this dumb with NFT, and it looks like we have to collect all three to build a digital Starro. I don't even know and understand what that means. I don't care about Batman. I don't care about Aquaman. I've got them. But this Wonder Woman signed me all the way up to finally getting classic version of Wonder Woman in McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Wave. Can't wait to get her. She looks really good. And here's a better look at her. So finally, don't see any loop for her magic lasso. I would assume Todd would not forget to include that, but finally we get her into this line. Curious to see what they do about the hair, because that really wouldn't work that well in terms of her articulation. But if we just get this figure coming out like that, I'll be happy. And here's a better look at Batman and Robin, Superman and Robot Batman. Then we got Lord Deathman, the Joker again. But here's the one that just blew my mind. I cannot believe they did this, because I hated and loathed this movie so much. But wow, I can't believe they did this. So we got Batman and Robin, a Build-A-Wave. The Build-A-Figure is Mr. Freeze, so that's crazy. We get Batman, George Clooney himself, Poison Ivy, Uma Thurman, Alicia Silverstone, Batgirl, Chris O'Donnell with his Robin outfit in this look with the red. Actually got adapted later on in DC Rebirth or New 52. So that was kind of cool to see that in classic comic book form and see this back here. I mean, just the fact that they did that is really admirable, that they did these four figures in this terrible, terrible movie, and now we're getting them in figure form, including a pretty decent looking Mr. Freeze. I'm surprised they didn't do Bane as well and have Mr. Jeep Swenson hanging out there with them as well. Then there's another look at Black Lightning. See the sculpt here. That's nice to see. I feel like one thing, that I did not give Todd enough credit for, make sure to include detailed elements on sculpts that you don't necessarily have to have, but it's really nice to see, like this lightning bolt. So it's really cool to see that. Still don't know what's going on with the Joker and Joker Green Lantern. But yeah, not a fan of the wrinkly knees pants version of Supergirl. It's just an odd look for her. And Catman we've already seen. Here's some new additions that we've already mentioned were coming, but now we get to see them in figure form. These are the digital renders, so maybe not exactly what we're going to get. This is the Firestorm, and I feel like they could probably make that flame a little bit more, but classic version of Firestorm, circa Crisis on Infinite Earths. And I like this hand sculpt, so he's pointing, changing something's properties. That's nice to see. We get a Hawkman, just not the one I wanted. It's 0 hour. Don't think I can really, maybe I can still get this and make him my JSA version of Hawkman from when he returned from his latest resurrection. I always like this outfit. This attire is cool, but I want a classic Hawkman and not this one just yet. And finally gets Sinestro to fight our Green Lantern. That's really cool to see him in this. Maybe now we'll start to crank out some more of those Sinestro Corps members and more Green Lanterns, but really excited to see those guys. What did you all think about all of those? Alpha Proto had the comic white Storm. Yes, mine has gummy legs too. Now that she's pinless and all white instead of pearl, I may get the 97 Storm and swap the head with the comic one. Good idea, because I may have to do that too, because mine is a topple over figure. I love it. She was a little bit taller too. That way I can get some extra height out of her. No, Batman. Alpha Proto, I think that might be the George Reeves Superman who we've seen in other properties lately. I won't spoil it in case anyone hasn't seen it. But yeah, I'm wondering if that is him. I don't remember watching every episode of the series, but I'm kind of thinking that maybe, just maybe, they had a random Superman appearance in the Batman show. So here's an image of George Reeves as Superman, just in case everyone wasn't sure what he looked like then. And let me pull this back up to go back and revisit what that Superman look like from this line. Here we go. So it looks like he's not quite that version of him, but I don't know. Maybe this is their best attempt to capture that cape, because the head sculpt definitely looks like this would be more of George Reeves than what we've seen before. So I don't know, maybe that is. And that would be really cool for them to have done that with him. And a nice, cool way to do a George Reeves in the McFarlane figure line. I pre-ordered the cloth cape Catman. Nice. How much was it? Yeah, boy. Oof. NFTs. So I don't know why it's still a thing, man. It's wild. Yeah, now only gonna get Wonder Woman. I paid $40 for it, to be honest. GMGR30, I'm with you. Why didn't they just unzombify their deceased Supergirl? Jamelin, I wish I knew, my friend. Matthew, I know, right? Altodius, good. Nice. Yeah, I'm really happy with some of these. I hope so. McFarlane would do Michael Shannon, General Zod, or name it. I mean, they're doing all these other shows and movies. No reason for them not to do Man of Steel. That Poison Ivy looks fire. Gimme. I think they did a really nice job with her, too. Those are sculpted catnips. Too much, Blake. Yeah, I mean, that movie was so bad. Whew. Andre, I'm so happy seeing the future Marvel Legends going back to the plastic packaging. Me too. Jalen, I'm not defending the Batman and Robin movie, but the figures sold. And I'm sure these are going to sell too, just for the nostalgia of having them. Zaire, can't wait for Infinity Saga Black Widow. They did a nice job on her. Cannot doubt that at all. Daniel, the Supergirl, Hawkman, and Sinestro is a must for me. And I never thought I'd say this, but the Batman and Robin wave looks pretty good. I know. I mean, they look better than the movie, and it's wild that they knocked them out like that. Sinestro. I mean, we needed him. We got we have multiple. We have 3 Green Lanterns at this point. We needed somebody to fight him. Dang, that head sculpt on Sinestro looks awesome. GMGR, I'm with you. Cyborg, that Superman is based on the Batman 66 comic. Okay. I must have missed. I was reading that comic for a while. Let's see here. And I know they did that movie with Two-Face. Now, was that based off of was that based off of George Reeves? I'm trying to find it as I'm chatting and talking. Darn, I cannot find it. That Superman 76 or 78 and Batman 66 comic strip were really good. I cannot find it now. Man, yeah, I have to check that out then. Supergirl should be a home run off a T-ball stand, but this is not for me at all. Kelly, I just don't understand how they botched those legs. Ryan, hope you have a good podcast, man. Yes, Yojo, indeed, tomorrow. Bruce, excited for the Firestorm and Hawkman. I totally agree with you. Flame needs more height and need Hawkman from JSH, F. John's era. Exactly. That was like such a great time. Altodis, they need Batman and Robin Bane. Yeah, man. I mean, if you're going to do it, you got to throw Bane in there, too. Kind of wonder, will they do Jim Carrey's? I'd be shocked at this rate if they didn't. I mean, they've covered so many parts. And I guess it makes sense for them to do an all Batman and Robin wave with both the villains, because then they still have what can they do here? So they can do a Joker? Well, probably not. They can do Penguin and Catwoman for Batman Returns, and then Two-Face and Riddler. So they can have a whole villains wave, and that way they cover them on that end. Ski Raider. Everyone chill on the Batman and Robin wave. Just had to bring those awesome puns back. I probably need to watch that again. I might appreciate those terrible puns more now. Jay Woods, did anyone get a sneak peek at Marvel Selects Nihilist Prototype? This could be their year for Marvel comic characters. I did see it, and it looks really, really good. I am really hyped up about that figure and cannot wait to see what happens with that one, because, yeah, really nice looking figure. Let me see if I can pull that up really quickly. Let's see here. But yeah, I was really like, man, Marvel Legends might have waited a little bit too long to get that figure out to the masses, because I think everyone is going to jump to quickly get that one. Let me see if I can find it, because I did see it yesterday. Darn it. I only see the Crimson Dynamo right now. I have to track that down for later. But yeah, the Nihilists look great. Let's get ready. They're trying to bring it to San Diego Comic-Con. So many fire drops. Good call, Cyborg, Soda Collectibles. They did Two-Face from the animated movie and Batgirl from the comic, skirting the Yvonne Craig likeness issues, which was really cool. Green Man, the designs were made for toys after all. Ski Raider is cold with the puns. Yes. Let's see lines. I'm annoyed now. Again with McFarlane. What's the point of the Batman 6-pack? He's just going to release the Clooney Batman in a bath wave anyway. I mean, you know how he does his stuff, so it can't be too surprising. But it's nice if you just want a set with all 6 of them, I suppose, and don't want to build a figure. Ski Raider, get to the chopper. Do it now. Everybody does a really good Arnold impersonation too, so I'm with you. All right, last but not least, let's get on with it here. It is time for the Star Wars reveals, and one of the best action figure photographers in the game today, Matt K, was there at San Diego Comic-Con showing all this stuff from from Star Wars, lots of vintage collection figures. So if you were looking for them, you could grab them with no problem. Got Grand Admiral Thrawn coming, both-blade lightsabers, a new Ahsoka from her show to the Black Series, and Sabine from the Black Series as well from the show. Got her lightsaber. It looks pretty cool. And it looks like 2 different versions of Sabine. Yeah, I think so. Then we got Hera, and she's coming to the mainland. All 3 of them just in time for the Ahsoka TV show, and then more vintage collection versions of her. Now let's go to the fun reveals on the Black Series. R2-D2, really nice to see him fully geared up, and then a vintage Darth Revan. And then we got some more vintage collections, Troop Builder Imperial officers. It's kind of cool to see more retro figures. Yeah, Pipeline 3-pack, a Jedi, but no other characters. A 2-pack of Super Battle Droids, and hopefully not just a C-3PO head, because I wouldn't be real happy with that. Let's go to a bigger window so we can see this. Yeah, so I'm going to need the regular Battle Droid head to go along with this in addition to 3PO, but this is a really smart pack because this will allow me to army build some of the major villains in the Clone Wars, so I can have them surround my Jedi, my clone troopers, and not just have 2. That's really good. Glad to see that. Droid Dakars are also coming. That's very exciting. But now it's time for the big reveal. And you guys have talked about it. It's the Ghost, and they just say Star Wars Ahsoka, just tying everything. It's a vintage collection, the Ghost. Check out that price tag. Right now it's at $659. Let me see if that was later. Whoa, a lot more than later. That's crazy. It's already got 3,257 backers of 8,000 backers needed. 47 days left to go. This thing should probably fund by this time next week at this rate. Good grief. I thought people were going to balk at that price. But then you look at the Slave One, the Jabba's Palace, they're selling for vintage collection scale at $200. So this probably shouldn't have been a big surprise. And the tiers are really great for this. You can see all the different compartments. You can fit vintage collection figures in there, and they gave you a little extra bonus too. I mean, this is a really great, strong set. I mean, look at all that space in there for all the rest of the members of Phoenix Squadron. Really cool. And see the cockpit there. And then you've got your gunner cannon that rotates 360 degrees. Really cool. See Chopper hanging there too. I mean, if you're a Rebels fan, this is really hitting on all the marks for you. I mean, just fantastic looking execution. Here's Hera, so you can see the scale of how big this thing is. I mean, you don't need anything else for your Rebels collection if you've got this in hand. This is the bottom view of it here, and is a top view, and just really, really nice. Got to figure out how to make this work for a lot of collectors, but this is really outstanding work. They just killed it on this. And just, I mean, look at all this detail inside. This is not the norm for what we normally get from these figures. And see Hera chilling in there, right in this deal. I mean, look at this. You got some seats for the rest of the crew as well. I mean, this is really well executed and just so well done. See her here in this station as well. I mean, so many options and so many posable different ways you can take this thing. It just outstanding. And again, with this crazy backer count already, I don't think it's going to have any problem getting funded. But just to make it even more enticing for everybody, the tiers are ridiculous and exactly what you would hope, what you would want to see for something like this. They're not messing around with any bones or any crazy deal like that. No dumb backdrops. Here's Hera. Let's see if I can open her in a new tab so you can see her a little bit more detail. So she's got that drawing from that famous moment in Rebels, and she looks really good. And it kind of looks like she's based off of Mary Elizabeth Master. I forgot her last name, but you know, the actual actress playing her in Ahsoka. A really nice job with Hera, so really cool to see her. Then we got the Phantom too, and that you can actually take apart. It's a separate piece. There's Chopper hanging there with her. That's really cool. I mean, just the extra playability with that, so great. And then we get to the rest of the Spectre crew, and bam, you can do this if you keep unlocking tiers. At 11,000, we get Ezra. And I wanted this look for the whole rest of the Rebels crew because I have their season 1 and 2 look, but actually getting them in these other attires. And this definitely is not more of a cartoon look. It's more of a here's what they would look like in real life, like they've been doing with these figures all the way through. But getting Ezra, that is so cool to get him in this outfit, this look. Very cool. Again, he is 11,000 backers. I don't think we're going to see any problem on that because this thing is rolling. Then we got Kanan. Really cool to see Kanan. He's going to be at 14,000. And again, this is really cool. We've got the mask look for him, so you can pop that right on his head. You got the burned eyes, the lightsaber glared eyes look. Then we've got the bearded look. I mean, this is the season 3 and 4 look for him. And just so well done. He's got his blaster and his lightsaber, and that is very great to see as well. Finally, at 17,000 backers, it's Zeb, and we're getting him as well in full original sculpt. Got a nice smile on his face there. You see the detail right here, all his armor, and it's got it right there as well. Really nice touch, and the fur looks really good too. I mean, geez, not been getting most of these vintage collection figures in a long time, but this set, whew, boy, I mean, I'm having such a hard time saying nope, can't do it. My wife said 6 Batmans or 6 too many. Robert, I'm still strong in vintage, so those reveals were great, but I do need R2 for my Black Series OT display. Yes. Ski rated, the Ghost looks fire. I don't do the scale anymore, but I got to give props and round of applause. Yeah, I mean, even if you're not getting to this thing, it's just like tip the hat, say the gentleman to this set because it is so well done. And you got to figure they're going to do Sabine later in a vintage card set. And I guess Ahsoka they've released in a single card too, so we can kind of fudge and put them in here. But wow, really nice. Eddie, the Ghost, is indeed insane. I really want to get the 2 Sabine figures for Star Wars Black series. I think that'll be a good option for you. Eddie, you can remove the upper panels and see that beautiful interior. Yeah, man, it's just so much stuff they put into it. The Ghost price is prohibitive to me, but I hope those figures are released with different packaging. Beautiful, as Tony Bruno once said. Jamelin, this is a great offer, and I do wish it was a little cheaper. I didn't think I would want to go in on it, but we'll see how I feel in a month. I know this I think is going to see a lot of surges at the end as people start figuring out how they can put this money together to make that happen. That thing is majestic. It's so majestic. They just, yeah. I mean, over 3,000 black. I mean, geez, at this rate, it may be 4,000 by the time I finish because people are really excited about this. So for all the stumbles, the dropping of the ball they've had on the Black Series, they're killing it with these vintage collection HasLabs. And I think we're just going to see them focus directly on that. Right now, it's at 3,305 backers. Crazy. This looks like so much fun. Could mess with it for hours. And I think the really cool thing with it is you can just use it as a Rebels collection. You don't need to tie it into the Grand Empire itself. I mean, just get a few figures, you get Thrawn, you're pretty much covered with all the stuff you would need. So it's almost a self-contained set where, if you want to add more vintage collection figures, you could, but you don't have to. And I think that's the beauty of the set. You get a full play set essentially, and you don't need anything else to make it work. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and back the Ghost Inspector crew. Let's do lines. I'm with you, man. If I were collecting Star Wars, I would be in on it. I think they just knocked it out. Andre, so if they're doing a Star Wars vintage HasLab, does that mean there will not be a Black Series HasLab? I assume so, that will not be the case. Maybe they'll throw in some random lightsaber again that no one wanted, but probably no HasLab Star Wars. I don't think they've done a double dip between brands before. I think maybe Star Wars is the only one that has such a strong vintage collection in another format where people really want both of them. I just don't think we're going to see a Black Series. I think they're really gun shy after the Rancor, after the special effects lightsaber from Reina that didn't get funded all the way through. So Riva that didn't fund. So I think we're just going to see more of these vintage collection stuff until people stop backing them. But at this rate, there's really no reason for them to, because this thing is just spectacular all the way around, and people are backing it, showing their support with their wallets, with their money, saying, hey, you did this, we're going to back it. I mean, geez, they're almost halfway through getting to that initial funding. And this, I think they could have a problem if for whatever reason it doesn't reach all the tiers, but I don't think that's going to be a problem because the tiers really make up this set. And it's one of those deals where it's like, if you want it, you want everybody associated with it. And if people have enough money to drop to get it, it's a really good deal. This is definitely one I think that if they were to do a payment plan, they would sell so many more because people would be like, $500 is a lot. But if you could spread that out over a few months, I think they get even more people than the 3,300 that are already backing it so far. Tam and Bell, Rizal, no Marvel Legends HasLab. It is coming. They just don't want to overstep over somebody else's. So the order right now is G.I. Joe, Star Wars, then Marvel Legends, then probably bringing up the rear is Transformers because they know the Transformers fan base doesn't need a $600 HasLab. They'll back it. That's probably smart because after you blow through all these other HasLabs, you don't want to have the Transformers one be the most expensive. They've settled into a really nice niche around $200 for their HasLabs. They get funded, so no problem there. But we will be seeing the Marvel Legends one soon enough. The Ahsoka Black Series looks like a rude. I don't think you're wrong. I think so. I don't think they've announced. I don't even think I've gotten my email from Hasbro yet where they break down all the stuff that's coming. I have not. It'll probably be later on, much later on tonight. So I'll try to update that. Robert says Black Series had a successful HasLab, not being negative, genuinely asking. No, they haven't. I think the only ones they've worked have been the vintage collection, which is why we're seeing another vintage collection. So you had Jabba's sail barge, so we had that, and the Mandalorian, his cruiser, we had that, no problem. This clearly looks like it's going to go through, and yeah, I feel like there's another one that I'm missing, but they've had no issues getting these vintage collection HasLabs to go through. I think the price point may be a little bit more for people. But yeah, I think that's a problem. Oh, heck yeah, with a payment plan, it'd be a done deal. Absolutely. I mean, because that takes away the whole, I've got to spend this much all at once when it finishes, after that 45 days, it's like people are going, can I fit in $500? Because it's a really nice HasLab. But, whew. Ski Raider, facts on the payment plan, Jeffrey. So many drops, they need to do it for all of these. And I really think that will work. Ronan, statistically speaking, if the Ghost hits, when I read that, I was hearing C3PO, if the Ghost hits initial funding, it's probably going to fund through the end with the typical 30-day-ish lull period. I wonder. But I feel like unlike something else they did that was really smart, they didn't do this big drawn out thing of, hey, where are the other tiers? They put them right out here, right here for you. There's no guesswork. There's no, well, it should be Zeb. It should be so-and-so. They put it very clear, made it explicit. You do this, you get this. You fund at this level, you get Kanan. You have fun at this level, you get Zeb. I I don't know why they don't do that for all of them. I don't need that suspense. If you want people to invest money, real money into these things, you can treat us like adults and tell us all the tiers right at once. And with this set, it is definitely a deal where I think if there's a low period, it's just going to be because it's totally funded and people want to know, are you going to add some more tiers? This is one where I could definitely see Hasbro feeling some pressure from the fans to add something else, maybe another figure, some stormtroopers in the mix or whatever, just because we need some more stuff because this is going to fund so fast. That is true with the tier shown. Thrawn's actor does look a lot like Elon. It's funny. We know he did the voice for him, so that works out on multiple levels. Randall, the payment plan makes the cat layers more appealing than the ghost for some. But the tiers for ghosts are cool, but I still haven't opened the Razor Crest. I think I was blinking on the name of that. Stickman, I didn't like Rebels enough to spend that much on their ship. Well, I mean, if you didn't like it, it is definitely not for you. But for everybody who was a fan, definitely I think you're going to love this thing. All right, well, listen. I got to save a little bit of my voice for tomorrow because G.I. Joe Classified series, and you know they're going to have a lot of cool reveals on that deal as well. So I'll be back tomorrow. I'm not sure when this Hasbro panel is. I will be back on doing another live very soon after that. As soon as some of these pictures pop up online, I'll be back doing another report breaking down all the Joes, my thoughts, and anything else that gets revealed over the course of the next few days, next few hours, the rate this thing's been going. Thank you to everybody who hung out and chat with me all this time. It's been a longer than I anticipated run. I'm sure tomorrow will be even longer. Going to be on here with Mega J Retro, so we'll do the thing. Be back better and better, hopefully, than ever tomorrow with more Lost Figure Files. For now, this episode has been filed.